Welcome to the road to a milli. Is this ever going to happen, Katie? I'm starting to doubt that it's going to happen.
You know, I know exactly how it's going to happen, but just when is the question.
I know what needs to happen. It just ain't happening. It's actually really good. There's some data. There's some data that we're like, why is this thing not growing? And we had a hunch a couple weeks ago of of a potential issue. And when you guys see our vision sheet today, it'll become very
Hunch confirmed.
hunch confirmed. Hunch confirmed. And so it's like finding problems, and then it's like, now that I know I have this problem, am I just gonna do the same thing, or am I gonna do something about it and then try to solve it? So I guess we got to solve it, or can we just ignore it and pretend it's not there
I mean, we could, but
and
it's
keep
hard to
getting
go past
frustrated?
where we're going.
We could just be happy, and we could just be happily frustrated. I'm happily unhappy.
No,
Sure.
I don't even know what you're trying to say.
I am comfortable being unhappy, so I will just continue to be unhappy. I don't know what it's like to be happy. I don't know what that's like. What is it like not to have to like worry all the time, be concerned, live paycheck to paycheck? I don't know if that's something I can do. Seems crazy. Ah, I'm just gonna blow shit up. Who's felt that way before? Let me just wreck this shit. Watch this. Too fun. Too fun. If you haven't done that, or I thought about that, you haven't been in business long enough. It's only a matter of time. Let me just let me just mess some things up. Things are going too good. Let me just destroy this thing. Okay, so let's get into it. Welcome to the road to a million. Right now we're at 500,000, and we're trying to figure out how to get to the other half. The first half I thought was going to be hard to get to. Well, it was difficult. Now the second half, which I thought was going to be, thought I had a better plan to get there, is proven to test what I thought, to make it harder than I thought it was going to be, which I guess I expect that. So now come up with new solutions to new problems. But on a day like today, I will share this with you guys. I'm actually going to share this more tomorrow inside the school community, but um, I'm reminded that we can get there, and we have gotten there before, and it's actually pretty cool. So some of you guys, Katie, we actually grab your plaque. It's kind of cool, actually, right there, right there. So last year, I made this plaque. Can you guys see this? So this was the first million that our cleaning business ever made, which ironically enough, like Bozeman Five Star's birthday is on 10/19. And so from 10/20 to 10/19, Katie grew that thing to $1 million. And
1,011,000 to be exact.
yeah, whatever. A milli. So that was pretty cool. And then this year, we fired Katie and we hired Alaya, who, if you guys are inside the school community, you guys have heard us talk about Alaya a lot because Alaya's a stud. And Alaya has been at the helm of Bozeman Five Star since the beginning of January. She's done every team meeting. She's hired every single person up until a couple weeks ago, because now we have centralized recruiting, which means that we have just taken it off each location's plate and made it into HQ's plate, which is what we're calling it now, with only 2 locations. But we have visions for more. But she hired every single person. She's done all the sales. She's done team meetings, all of it. And she's the one who's responsible for Bozeman Five Star. And so last week, I don't know if you guys can see this, but she has a plaque. She actually got a plaque too, made 2. But Bozeman just hit $1 million on 10/11. So on Friday, they hit $1 million for the year, from January 1st to October 11th. So that's the fastest we ever made it to $1 million. And so we still have about 3 months left, and they're on tear. They're on tear right now. So that's pretty cool. So it's my reminder that it can be done. We've done it a couple times, and now we're trying to do it a third time. And there's other people who are in this group who are also doing it, and we're all using the same systems and the same, same general philosophies. And so it's a matter of just execution and being able to solve these little nuances that every business has. Or if it was all exactly the same, then it would truly be just like you'd have a exact system and you could be able to implement it. But there's different variables, and humans is the biggest variable, right? And the biggest variable and the biggest human variable is the person who operates the business. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, I know it can be done. So now let's just figure out these little nuances so we can get it done again and again
The who?
and again.
Who is going to do it?
Who's going to do it? That is the question. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the vision sheet. So, Katie, this is week number 31. Thank you so much for putting this up here.
Yeah.
Every single week, I'm like, what week is it? It's week 31. We've been in this business for 31 weeks, in this Mesa 5-star cleaning business. So if you guys are brand new here, we've been documenting the start of a second cleaning business in Mesa, Arizona, which is in a totally different state than our first cleaning business, which is in Montana. And we've been documenting every single week this sheet, our data, for 31 straight weeks. So if you're brand new here, congratulations, you've skipped the first 30 weeks. And for a lot of you guys on here, been here, like Jessica and Lucas, and I don't know who else is on here. Sorry, I gotta take a peek ski real quick. Renee Krause, you guys have been here for all freaking 31 weeks. Thank you guys as well. So here's the vision sheet. So our goal is to get $80,000 a month, which is a run rate of $1 million cleaning business. Katie, why is $1 million cleaning business important? Is it for the status?
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, definitely could be. From a logical point of view, why is $1 million cleaning business important? Why is that a good goal?
Because it can be operated without an owner overseeing it, which increases the enterprise value, which means that somebody else could potentially want to buy it.
Yeah.
So options, as Lucas so eloquently put it in the chat, options. Gives us options.
Yeah. Really, anything less than $80,000 a month, it's going to be very difficult to hire an operator, someone who can truly take the freaking business and make it theirs. You can pay them enough money so they feel like it's theirs. And then you can actually still make a lot of money, right? Now, you can definitely pay someone less, but then you can make no money, and then you'll eventually not want the business, or you'll jump back in the business and end up doing the doing. But $82,000 allows enough profit. And I told Katie this last night, but one of the quotes that I heard this weekend from Elon Musk, he talks about profit is the oxygen to your business, right? Like with profit, it just allows you to breathe. It allows you to stay in business. The more profit, the more oxygen, the more you can breathe, right? And so $82,000 gives you enough profit, and gives you enough profit that not only can you like pay yourself very well, but you also can pay an operator, because profit is not just measured in dollars, it's also measured in time, right? So that being said, that is the goal. And so in order for us to hit $82,000 a month, how many job ticket hours do we need, Katie?
383.
And last week we got 228, which I actually think looks like to be a PR. So that's actually kind of cool. I didn't think that was a PR. But we need 28. We're looking for our cleaners to work on average 28 hours a week. And last week our cleaners worked 23. We need 14 cleaners in order for us to hit 83,000 a month, and right now we're at 12. So you guys can see the differences right here. And if you guys want to glance over here, I'm not going to talk about them, but you guys can see what's happened over the last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, so you guys can see the consistency or the inconsistency of these three numbers. Now, as we go down to the next section, which is the revenues, we are projected right now at 44,500 for the month of October. So this is like the highest projected that we've seen. Any of you guys who use InMade, you guys will see this number usually each week. As long as you're actively selling, this number generally goes up. Doesn't always go up, but it generally goes up. So the fact to see this number at 44,000 is cool to see. It's definitely the biggest one that we've seen this early in the month. which is cool. Monthly revenue sitting at 19,000. Weekly revenue, we did 11,218. So it's about $100 short of a PR. So not quite a PR, but right in the ballpark. Revenue per clean, 216, and the weekly total clean is 52. So again, not a PR, but right in the ballpark of a PR. So overall, if you actually look back at these last couple of weeks, you'll see we got $11,000 this week, $10,000 week before, 11,000, 8,000, 11,000. So it looks like if we can just put a couple of weeks together, even if we didn't raise the revenues, if we just have more consistent weeks, then we'd probably sitting at that $45,000 mark, which is about halfway to our goal. ZenMade billed and revenued. So the CRM that we use for cleaning is ZenMade. And so all the invoices get processed through ZenMade, and then they go through a processor called Stripe, which deposits money into our bank account. And then we have a bookkeeper who actually reconciles all the transactions inside there, which include both expenses and income. And then it shows them QuickBooks. So when you charge a card, it generally takes 2 or 3 days, and then you also have another couple days for it to deposit. So there's always a lag, for lack of a better term, right? So that's why your ZenMade build and receive is always going to be a little off. And sometimes, ironically enough, if you're bad at collections, which sometimes we are, the QuickBooks might be higher, and if it's ever higher, it's just because you have either done a poor job in the past of collecting, or you did a great job in this moment of collecting. But generally speaking, these numbers will be generally close. And so for our billed revenue last week, again, we billed 11,000. 6,000 of that dollars was new money, and then 5,000 was reoccurring money. So, this number is definitely the number that we need to continue to see to go up, is our reoccurring number. That'll make it easier for us to increase our weekly revenues. Outstanding invoices, 4641, less than 7 days, and then 0. Great job.
Yeah.
Great job on the collection of the invoices. So that's cool to see. All right, next section. Let's talk about some marketing. So there's really 3 big sections in a cleaning business that you gotta master, right? You gotta get these systems down. If you don't have a marketing system, if you don't have a sales system, and if you don't have a cleaner recruiting system, then you don't have a cleaning business yet, right? So if you don't have any of these systems, it's because you're probably just operating yourself. You're small. You maybe have 1 or 2 cleaners. You don't have leads coming in. You're not doing sales every single week. You don't have a cleaning business yet. You have a cleaning job. And the moment that you have these 3 systems is the moment you're actually in business, right? And I can say that from personal experience. My first 3 years that I was in business, I didn't have any systems, and I made $4,000 or $5,000 a month for 3 years. And it wasn't until I actually got a marketing system that it forced me to actually get a sales system, which then forced me to actually have a recruiting system, right? And so it's kind of funny how it works. So as far as marketing goes, last week we spent almost $600 in Google LSA. We spent $1,700 on Facebook. So we spent a grand total of $2,300. That's definitely the most. That's a PR. That's a PR. And then from Facebook, we actually got 56 leads. Facebook Messenger, we got 2 leads, none from the Facebook group, 5 missed calls, 9 Google local services, 7 homepage, 7 incoming call leads, 0 referrals. So we had 86 total leads, and at a cost of $27 a lead. So it's definitely one of the higher lead costs we've had. If we go back, I think we're generally less than $20, but last week we wasn't. So looks like our Facebook costs actually went up quite a bit. And so, Katie, what do we do about that? Should we just let it be?
No.
Yeah. So this weekend, I saw these numbers. This weekend, I actually just spent Sunday creating new creative, putting new ads out, doing some things, doing some testing. Lucas, you'd be so happy. Doing some testing on things I haven't tested in a very long time. But we also came up with this leads goal. So, Katie, why don't you share this leads goal and why it's important? How do we come up with it first?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we took since start date, I guess, to current date, and
do the whole story. Where were we at? Where were we at?
I don't know what you're asking. I'm sorry.
What do we do this weekend? Do we just sit at home?
No, we went to a boardroom at a hotel and we sat down and we did quarter four, a little late, but rather late than never, quarter four planning and 2025 projections. So looking back at our data, we have it all collected. We analyzed it. We figured out our growth rate. And then we kind of reverse engineered what our goal was and what growth rate we needed and broke it down to how many leads we need, how many sales we needed to close, how much new revenue we need to produce, and ultimately how much revenue is going to remain on the top line and how much profit will be on the bottom line.
Yeah. So that's what Katie and I go on dates. We rent out boardrooms and we spend all day on Saturday.
And we both math completely differently. So sometimes we get there in a different way, but it's really funny.
Yeah.
We don't think alike.
Which is a benefit. Something that I have been reminded of. Anytime I get frustrated that we don't think alike, I'm like, why am I getting frustrated? Like, this is actually a good thing. And so it's my reminder that it's a good thing to have somebody who thinks differently than you so they can offer you a different perspective. It's just up to you to whether you're open enough to accept other perspectives. That's on me. So so this leads goal is a new thing to the vision sheet, and we came up with like, this is what we need in order for us to actually get to 80,000. We need to get 122 leads every single week. So that means we got to spend more money, then we got to spend more money, or ideally we spend the same amount of money and we just do it more efficiently. But either way, we got to get to 122 leads. We get there ugly, we get there pretty, but either way we get there. So now let's talk about sales. Okay, so now we have leads coming in. We have 86 leads coming in. Next week we're going to have 122 leads coming in. Now what do we do with those leads, Katie? Do we just let them sit there? Do we call them once and then say that we're annoying them and we never call them back?
No, we help them.
To help them, right? So sales. This is the part where most people they have difficulty in their business because marketing, while a skill, relatively easy, and there's not a lot of emotional intelligence that goes into marketing. Sales, on the contrary, there's a lot of emotional intelligence. There's a lot of you have to grow as a human being in order for you to get strangers to give you money. So, new sales. So number of spots unfilled last week, 24. I think this is the highest number, maybe the second highest number. What was last week? 22. So yeah, this is the highest number. We had 24 unfilled spots. We had 27 spots open this week ahead. Okay, how's that make you feel?
We could make some more sales.
That's good. That's good. I don't know if Jessica's on here. I think I saw Lucas on here earlier. I was actually telling them that this was actually a fear that I had for the first 7 months of this business, is not being able to fill the cleaner schedules. And it was something I realized that we actually just needed to actually go through. We actually needed to go through the process of what does it look like for cleaners not to have full schedules? Because up to this point, all of our cleaners have always had jam-packed full schedules. And so we are in a situation now where we have like our bottom half of our cleaners, 3 or 4 cleaners, like they do not have full schedules. They have maybe one clean a day. Sometimes they have no cleans in a day. And just going through this process of like sitting in the uncomfortable has actually made this problem less impactful. And just understanding that, yes, it's part of the game. And at the end of the day, what is in the best interest of the business is to be overstaffed. Which essentially means that if we have a call out, well, then we have a cleaner who can pick it up. And if we have a cleaner who gets, call outs include cleaners getting sick, they have something happen, whatever. We have somebody who calls us today and wants it clean for the same day. We can say yes. Right? And so it allows us to say yes to more customers. And from the point of the cleaner itself, from the one individual cleaner, it seems like it's unfair. I actually just had this conversation with a cleaner last week, and I was like, I understand why you'd feel that way. However, when we look at it from the standpoint of the other cleaners, of the clients, and the office staff, like it's not unfair for them. right? And that is the real challenge in business, is that you have to take in account for all perspectives, and you have to do the best to try to solve the problem that takes care of the clients, the cleaners, your office staff, and the business, right?
It's a lot of
And
problems to solve.
a lot of problems to solve. And a lot of times, in my experience, my previous experience, I used to just cater to the individual. I would cater to just the cleaner, right? Or cater to just the client, or just to the business, or just to myself, and understanding that there's more perspectives that need to be accounted for while making a decision. And so while this number is definitely the biggest it's been, and it just shows that there's a lot of opportunity there as well. Like 24 spots means that there's lots of money that we can put onto the books. It's really the sitting in the uncomfortability of like not having full schedules that is actually making me more confident. So maybe that's part of the growing process that has to happen, and in order for this business to get to $1 million, because we've avoided that up until literally the last 2 weeks. So now with sales concerned, Megan Kazai, you can see Kazai in the background. She's doing something back there. I made 356 phone calls. Out of those 356 phone calls, we had 24 cold calls scheduled, 19 showed. Katie, that's an improvement.
Yes.
An improvement. And we had 46 cold calls performed, and out of those 46, we closed 23. And we have a cold call goal now of 25. So as Katie was talking about earlier, we spent a Saturday figuring out what do we actually need to do every single week in order for this business to get to $1 million. 122 leads, we need 25 cold calls. And then last week, we converted eight people from new sales into reoccurring clients. And our goal is 8. How exciting. How exciting. So that was pretty cool to see. We also $7,500 in new cold call revenue was good. And then $1,600 of reoccurring money every single month. Also good. Is that good?
I think that's good.
That's good. So if you guys have been watching us the last couple of weeks, like these numbers have been relatively consistent. Over the last couple of weeks, we have, like last week, we converted only 3 actually, but we did 33 new sales. That broke to 25. Week before that, we did 7 conversions into 33 new sales. Week before that, the business did 6 reoccurrings and 35 new sales. Week before that, so we did 7 reoccurrings and 31 sales. So like we've been hitting the numbers over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So why in the heck is this business not growing, Katie?
No, it's at the bottom.
It's at the bottom. Should I skip ahead or should I make people wait?
Make them wait.
Okay. Yes. So if you guys see these numbers, you guys been watching this, I'm like, I was thoroughly perplexed. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, we're hitting the numbers. Like we're like the data shows we're hitting it. Why isn't this thing growing? And then the hunch. I'll show you guys the hunch, and it'll become really clear why this thing ain't freaking growing. Okay, let's talk about client fulfillment. So we had 52 cleans last week. Out of those 52 cleans, 21 were new, 31 were reoccurring. We had 11 new Google reviews last week, which is a down week. Terrible week. Over the last couple of weeks, I don't know if you guys have been on here, we had 21 reviews last week and 20 week before. So now 11 is bad. 11 is a bad week. 3 collection cleans. But we broke 100 reoccurring clients. So this was super exciting. We're at 105 and our goal is 161. Why is the goal 161?
Because that way we can enter the month with about $60,000 on the books in recurring. Yeah. And if we sell $5,000 a week, that equates to roughly $83,000 run rate.
Yeah. So this 161 is a huge number. If we can hit this 161, that'll put us right around that $60,000 mark. And then if we're selling $4,000 a week, which you guys can see here, we're selling a little bit more than that. It gives us a realistic chance to actually hit $1 million. So getting these reoccurrings every single week is the goal. And we did this math on these conversions right here in order to get us there. This includes what our attrition rate is. So we expect to lose clients. Kenny, do we only get clients or do we lose clients as well?
No, we lose them at about a 5% attrition rate.
Yeah. So we looked at we use Bozeman as our baseline for attrition because Mesa honestly doesn't have a ton. Although ironically enough, it did actually map out to about 5% in this location too, even though it's new. So we took a 5% attrition rate, which means that we're going to lose 5% of our clients. So if you start the month with 100 people, you're going to lose 5. Simple math, right? So we take an account for that attrition rate in order for us to get to 161 by when, Katie? When is our goal to get to 161 by? What's the timeline?
I mean, I wish I could put a timeline on there, but as soon as possible.
Yeah, but we actually put a math problem to this. Like for Q4, remember these were Q4 goals?
No, I don't remember that. I think we differentiated them. I think the only Q4 goal that was actually Q4 was the revenue, not recurring.
Yeah, so if we do 8 every single week for the next 3 months, we'll get to 161.
That's not right. What's 8 times 3?
It's 8 times 4. Every single 8 per week times 4 is 32, times 3 is 90. Minus 5% would be 161.
There's only 3 months in a quarter.
It's 8 a week.
Oh, 8 a week. Okay, I'm following now. Not month. Thank you. This is why we math different. Do you see this, you guys?
Real life. Real life
This
thinking.
is real life.
This is real life.
This is why we need a whiteboard and a giant screen and all of the scribbles.
These are actually our conversations. So you guys just got to experience one. And by the way, usually it's the other way around. Usually I'm just like, no, and I'm arguing. I'm like, oh, actually, yes, okay, you're right. So you guys got to see the rare occurrence where it was like, yes, this is right. This is right. Okay. Yeah. So that's why this number is important, and that's why this number is important too, Katie. So 25. Why is 25? If you go back to here, like, why is the 25 important? Like, where do we come with this number?
So we can actually close an appropriate amount to convert an appropriate amount to get to 161 recurring clients.
Exactly right. So although these numbers seem a little bit like they don't seem correlated, like you need 25. Actually, let's back up. How many leads? These 4 numbers are all correlated. Leads, cold call, conversions, and recurring. These are the 4 stars, right? They're the 4 data points. Why is the leads important, Katie?
Because we need to be able to close leads to turn them into new clients. We need new clients to be able to be served to turn them into recurring clients.
Exactly. So those are kind of the 4 data points that we mathed this weekend to come up with how we get to 83,000 by the end of the year, right? By Q4.
So we convert like roughly 20% of leads into paying clients.
Yeah. So if we have 100 leads on our lead list, like we get 100 leads, we'll convert 20 of those into actual new leads, and then from those 20 new leads, then we convert was like 13% or 15%.
About that, yeah.
I think it was Bozeman that converted less. Mesa was crazy. Mesa was like way above, but yeah. Anyway, we use the data. So what is it? 8 times 3, so it's like 33%. So we convert at 33% is what the math shows. So that's why we need like 33% of 25 is 8. Okay. So anyway, that's how all 4 of those goals coordinate together. We have 22 occasional clients. We have 232 5-star reviews, and the goal is 250. So exciting. Okay, Pinner acquisition. So last week was Katie's very first week of being the recruiter. So as I said earlier, we have centralized recruiting. And last week was the first week that I did not do any recruiting whatsoever. And so this is all Katie. Katie did a great job. I'm a great teacher, actually. That's what I realized is I'm a great teacher. I taught Katie how to do this. All Katie's numbers you guys see is all because of my teachings. Katie made 26 outgoing calls. We had 56 applicants, 17 phone interviews, 12 performed, 4 scheduled interviews, 3 showed, 0 hired. We hired nobody last week. But we had 2 people who were onboarded, and one of those gals actually didn't make it. I just put her under red today. So she got onboarded, Marie Jed would love this if she's on here. She got onboarded, went through everything, and then this morning right at our team meeting, she called and said a bunch of excuses. No, thank you for the job. I'll return my supplies. So that was exciting. And then Aspen, our second trainee this week, what did she say this morning, Katie?
I locked my keys in my car. Can't make it to the work today. So not looking great so far.
Oh, to be young again. Yeah, so back to the recruiter. You gotta have a recruiting system because people are gonna be people. They're gonna show up, they're not gonna show up. Last week we let go of someone on Friday, Madison. Rachel, who's our number 2 cleaner. She was a trainer. She put her 2 weeks in. Yeah, she's actually great. She came to the team meeting again today, and everyone loves her. And yeah, so I think today's gonna be her last day, right, Katie? Is it her last day?
Tomorrow is.
Oh, tomorrow is cool. Yeah, so she's awesome, but we are losing her. And then we have 2 trainees, Raven and Marissa. They made it through training, but there's I still don't even think that that's really making it. If I really wanted to extend this thing out, I would say after a month, that's when I truly know that people are going to be here, are truly going to be here on our terms. Whether they're on their terms or not, it's still to be determined. But if I'm going to let someone I don't know if Raven and Marissa are going to make it. We'll see, right? But we got another girl. I thought we hired one more person. We should do one more person on here.
Oh, I don't know. I did too many interviews to remember, but I don't see anybody else's name.
Yeah, then there's one more girl who's scheduled for onboarding this week. We do have one more person who's scheduled for onboarding from Friday. And we did actually let another cleaner go today. That'll be on next week's vision meeting. So that pipeline.
Amber Rangel. Type her in there. Yeah, I'll get it.
Amber Rangel, she's onboarding on Friday. So again, as fast as they go out, we got more coming in. One-on-ones last week. Yeah, I had a couple one-on-ones. Madison and Jenna, both these girls actually turned out to, I ended up letting Madison go on the phone call, and then Jenna let go after the phone call. Tiffany, we actually made a trainer, so that was a good phone call. And then Marissa also letting her know that, giving her feedback on what I've got from the team and from the office, and just let her know that she needs to make the adjustments, otherwise we can't have her on the team. So out of all these phone calls, only Tiffany was an exciting one where I got to love on her, but the rest of them had to get feedback. And then our cleaners last week, Jocelyn, Rachel, Alyssa had 34 hours, which is cool to see. Tiffany, Kayla, Asia, yeah, Madison we let go. Miranda was on RTO. Amanda's actually doing pretty well. Jenna was another cleaner who we ended up letting go as well. And then Marissa and Raven were in their second week of training. And then Aspen and Callie both did onboarding. And again, Callie did not make it. And then it looks like we did some Airbnbs last weekend too. So Navy took over an Airbnb for us. Then Megan, who's actually in the office, she did the Airbnb on the weekend as well. So that's why we have some part-timers get some action in there. Cool. Yeah, so then our 49, our average, or what we're charging, almost $50 an hour, which is actually not too bad. We had a couple of correction cleans. Debbie Hansen, looks like we just missed the floors. Lex Olson is an Airbnb. I think we mess this one up every single time.
Yeah, every single time. I don't even know why she still lets us serve her.
Well, I think it's because her first experience was even worse. Remember, she came from a company that I can't remember exactly what happened, but they had her in a contract, and I don't know.
Yeah, we at least go back and fix it every time.
We go back and fix it. We mess it up, but at least we fix all the shit we mess. I think we get a little bit of benefit of the doubt too, because we actually went and stayed at her Airbnb. We paid her some money to go stay at her Airbnb too, so we got a little bit of grace.
Will you go up for a second just to the cleaners really quick? There's a couple questions in this chat that Julia's just asking. When do you know when it's time to let somebody go? And I think you should clarify letting somebody go. It was ultimately the cleaner's decision to leave in both of those scenarios. But will you explain a little bit about scenarios? Give a true live case study of what happened.
Yeah. So again, I can give you lots of case scenarios. I've had to give people the opportunity to meet the standard, not meet the standard, multiple times in this company. When I say multiple times, I'm like, I don't even know, lots. Every single cleaner basically gets the opportunity to meet the standard or not. But for example, last week, Madison, we let go on Friday. My conversation with her was just to give her feedback, and I had all the feedback written down. She had card issues. We tried to put her on a clean one time, and then she didn't answer the phone, and so she wasn't available for a clean. And then, then she didn't request time off, and we also put a clean on her schedule, and she told us afterwards that she put a clean on her schedule. So these are all things that I was coming into the conversation to give her feedback with. But before I start any one-on-one, I always ask them what are their questions and concerns. I always let them start first. And it's funny because usually their questions/concerns always has to do something with the feedback over here. And if it doesn't, then I figure out how to tie it to the feedback. But ultimately she was upset because she wasn't getting hours. And I was like, well, I will tell you why you're not getting hours is because we do not have trust in you. Because you called out, we tried to put a cleaner schedule, you didn't answer, and then you also had car issues. And so we don't even know if your car was fixed. And basically just told her the truth. I was like, the likelihood of this changing is very low. So if this doesn't work for you, I totally understand. But moving forward, if you want to continue to be on this team, here's expectations in order for us to be able to give you cleans is we need to have trust in you. So do we have trust in you when you do not show up to cleans?
No.
I mean, I just try to be as transparent as possible. I spend $2,000 a week, and if you have to show up to a clean, I have zero tolerance. Zero. And when I'm able to I show you guys the numbers, I show our team the numbers too.
But Logan, I can't afford to not work.
I totally understand that.
Do you want to see the receipt for my car? It was so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the day, this isn't just if we only keep this from the perspective of you, then I understand what you're thinking of. However, perspective I have taken account for as the one who's in charge of this whole ship is I got to take an account for the other cleaners on the team, for the clients who we're serving, and the office staff. And so I understand from your point of perspective about your car payment, your bills, and you need to make money. I totally understand that. However, my job is to put the best product in clients' homes. And so moving forward, if you want to be one of those people who gets cleans, here are the expectations. I need you to be reliable. I need you to show up. When I try to put a clean in your schedule, you need to be available for it. When I put a clean in your schedule, I need you to show up to it. That's it. Can you do that?
Yeah, this isn't going to work.
It's totally fair. I just want to make sure this works for you. If that doesn't work for you, then it's totally cool. There's better opportunities out there for you that'll probably fit what's best for you.
Okay. I appreciate the opportunity too.
Yeah. So those are the conversations. I recorded every single one I want to do is recorded. And for all you guys who are inside back in the day, I shared that recording. Katie somewhat roleplayed with me with Madison, who let go last week. It was it's one of the better one-on-one recordings that there was definitely some confrontation, and it ended with very mutual respect for both sides. And at the end of the day, I also did understand from her point of view. So it wasn't it wasn't like I was not counting her point of view at all. But I'm just not going to base the decision of the business based on one person. But I understand from her point of view where she's coming from. I was like, this, why is it going to be a good fit for you then? I was like, that's totally fine, by the way. So, all right. Does that answer your question, Katie?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's keep going here. Yeah, and then looks like we have a Tina Miller issue too. So, canceled recurring clients. We had one. It was far better than last time. It's totally fair, Jacqueline. Totally fair. So we did lose one client. However, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. So 8 minus 1. So we netted 7.
That's dope.
I'll take that.
Let's do that again.
Let's do that again. Let's do that again. So up to this point, everyone's like, why isn't this freaking thing at $1 million? Like, these are $1 million numbers. Right?
Dun, dun, dun.
Let me show you. Let me show you the problem. You guys ready? This is the problem. Look at this. We started tracking this 3 weeks ago. So let me put some perspective on this before I get too heavy into it. So actually 4 weeks ago is when I added this to the vision sheet. I was like, I feel like there's something happening here. Like these numbers are freaking great. Why isn't this thing growing? So this has been happening for a while. So I added this to the vision sheet. As you guys see, it's blank here because I added it afterwards. And then I had our VA, Rhea, start documenting this over the last like every single week. She now puts this on the sheet. And so the very first week, I was like, see, there it is. We had 8 clients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had 9 clients who canceled, right? That was $2,000 of revenue during this week. And then I was like, when did they cancel? So you see here, look at this. See, I added this. Like, when did they cancel? Now I'm curious, like, when they canceled and like what type of clean is it, right? So the next week, Ray updates this. And now we have $1,600 of money that cancels. And we still didn't get the date of the clean or cancel date. I'm like, okay, we're going to update this to data clean and cancel date. I want to see when they cancel, when the date of the clean was. And then is this reoccurring or first time? And so finally, after 3 weeks, we actually got this right. Now we can see the date of the clean. So for Carmeletta Donaldson, her date of the clean was 10/7 and her cancel date was 10/7. So she canceled the same day of. Service price $150, initial clean. This was initial clean. Janet Frazier 10/7, 10/7, $125, reoccurring. Bernadetta 10/7, 10/7, $268, initial clean. But look at all these reoccurrings. This is the one that like alarms me the most. So you have all these reoccurrings, and most of them were canceled same day or day before, which is within our cancellation policy, right? We need to have 24 hours.
48 hours.
Excuse me, we need to have 48 hours. And looks like none of these, actually I think one of them, Tech Chang, but he's not even a recurring. He's a Airbnb. So all of these were within the 48-hour time zone. So you know what the next thing I'm putting on here for next week? Katie, what is the next thing I'm putting on here?
Did we charge the cancellation fee?
Did we charge the cancellation fee? That's exactly right. So now I want to know how much money did we actually collect from these last minute cancellations? Is it 0? Because that sucks. Did we charge anything? Yeah, I don't know. I do not know the data right now. So that's the next thing I'm going to add to next week's vision meeting is, did we charge them the fee? $3,000. What's 3,000 plus 11,000?
Well, and if you see here, there's 2 service prices that aren't even entered, so it's probably more than that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's asking, did they cancel recurring entirely or just the clean? And just the clean.
Looks like it's just the clean. Yeah. Yeah. So craziness. This right here, like $3,000. That's 3,000 plus 11,000. That's $14,000 revenue. Like that's a PR. Like the last couple of weeks, we would have had PRs if we wouldn't have these cancellations. Now, cancellations are, I believe, are always going to be part of the equation, but $3,000 worth, that is, I don't believe that is going to be the standard. That's poor. It's poor communication, or it's poor enforcement of the 48-hour rule, which all it really does is protect our cleaners, which, ironically enough, is going to come down to this number right here. 24 spots unfilled has to do with like having people who are on the schedule cancel last minute. Like those are unfilled spots.
It's also falsely inflating our sales percentage, because if we sell 50% initial cleans, but 1, 2, 3, 4 cleans canceled,
yeah.
do we?
Yeah. Well, I see the recurring as the bigger one, but that's just for this week. Maybe that changes next week, but I see a lot of recurring. So like these are all people who we have cards on file, and I'm just wondering like, are we letting them know that if you cancel, we have to charge you, which usually incentivizes people not to cancel. We found that out also last week. Is that once we tell people that, then they just don't cancel. They're like, oh, I'll figure it out, or they just accept it. Either way. So yeah, this is what we're working on. This is right here is what's keeping me up at night. This is the problem I'm trying to solve, and some of the strategies that we're doing to solve this problem is last week at our office meeting, we have an office vision meeting that we do right after this call. We started to we made the decision to start taking credit cards for all initial cleans. And so that process is what we're doing to combat having people cancel, and then also charging the 24 or the 48-hour cancellation policy. We also have done that now, like it happened again this morning. We had a lockout that they both had COVID. They were sick, and we called them, and they were very happy to pay half the price in order for them to stay a client. And so I think that's the next step of this is enforcing the standards that we have set. But like the reason why do we have a 48-hour cancellation policy, Katie?
Just to protect our cleaners, ensuring that there is somewhat of a consistent schedule, as consistent as possible.
Yeah. And so if Kim Love cancels on 10/8 and 10/8, like is there any chance we can fill that spot?
No.
And so
I mean, 1% maybe.
Yeah. And so our cleaner doesn't get paid, and if our cleaners don't get paid, the likelihood of them staying with us is very low. Right? So this is a huge number that we're paying attention to, and our strategy is getting credit cards on file for all new cleans, and then enforcing the cancellation policy. So that way we protect our cleaners, and if that means that we lose clients, that might happen, right? It might happen. Any other thoughts on that, Katie?
No, I'm excited to bring it to our office vision meeting and watch the girls go, wow.
Yeah. Crazy. Okay, and let's finish out here. So we had a correction clean. We had some Google review discounts. We gave away some online booking discounts, and then we did some quick fills. So again, part of the reason why we did a bunch of quick fills is because our schedule is falling apart. So like, not only do these show up here, but now we do got to fill cleaner schedules so they show up down here as well. But we had $1,000 of quick fills. Dang, that's tough. That's tough. At a 5% discount. What was this for? That's interesting. Yeah, so $1,300 in discounts. That was one of our bigger discounted weeks I think we've ever had. 509. So 883. 172. Yeah. Cool. All right. That's the vision sheet. So road to a milli. Katie, what's the path? What do we got to do?
Oh, the inputs look good. We just need to tighten systems on the back end. So collecting credit cards on the front end, upholding the cancellation policy, which honestly probably helps with the conviction of when our cleaners conviction goes up, our office staff conviction goes up. So ultimately it doesn't necessarily increase the conviction of the office staff initially, but it will when our cleaners are happy. And then when our cleaners are happy and performing, then the office staff, it's like, I will fill your schedules. So
Yep.
Yeah, inputs look good. I mean, if we zoom out rather than just looking at 1 week at a time and the vision sheet, like when we took all of the data from start date to October 1st this weekend and analyzed it, we are closing and serving 20% of our leads that come in. Like that number is great. So what we're doing is it's working. I don't think we need to go change everything that we're doing, but there are some things that we need to absolutely tighten.
I think this is the first time that we've had this problem, so it's new. It's new for us, so like we haven't solved it. So it's like any new problem. You guys have experienced new problems. You're like, I don't know how to do this. Neither do we. But I do have faith that we'll figure it out. Like we'll continue to throw our resources at it, time, attention, money, and we will figure out this problem, and we will get past it. And we will have another problem that we will then not know how to solve as well. Um, but yeah, like the inputs are actually pretty good. Like if I look at this business, I'm like, I like it. Marketing is there, sales is there, cleaners are there. Like it's now just a matter of like keeping the sales on the schedule. Like different problem. I've never talked about that problem before. But maybe it's also part of the process of growing fast too. So there's difference in like when you grow fast, you're gonna sometimes you gotta pull it back a gear.
Yeah. I also just think that like this is the benefit of tracking data
Yeah.
is when hunches happen or feelings happen in your business, when you have something to go and reflect on and like just analyze, the solution presents itself. Whereas if you just go off your hunch and your feelings, like there might not even be a problem, and your solution might not be solving the hunched feeling problem. So this is like truly the benefit of analyzing data, and not only analyzing data on a weekly basis, but then on a monthly basis, and then even on a quarterly basis, and then on an annual basis. Because we're not going to be in business for just a few short months. We're not going to be in business for a week. We're going to be in business. I mean, that's the game, is to stay in business. That's how we know we win, is when we stay in business. So extending the time horizon and not getting our feelings involved in the data, I think, is the key.
Yeah. It's awesome. Okay, cool. Any other questions, Katie, that you see in there that you want to?
Jonathan asked if the other cleaning companies, if Bozeman is the other one doing similar numbers.
No.
Maybe I don't know no, that's a way bigger company.
Yeah. Yeah. Different company, different season. So, yeah. Short answer is no. More efficient. I think as you get better at anything, you're just more efficient. As you get older, as you get more profit, everything just gets you get more oxygen. Makes it easier to breathe. So, yeah, no, in a shorty. What else? Anything else that you see?
Anna Harris put, do we track the salesperson who sold the initial clean that canceled?
We thought about it. I think that's maybe another step that we do to see if there's any human being issues. But the benefit is that, I mean, Katie is right there. We've been listening to all their conversations. So like we don't like there's no big red flags as far as human beings are concerned, because we actually hear the conversations. Now, if you're not hearing conversations, like if your all people are remote or they're not in the same room as you, and you can't hear their conversations, maybe that's a data you track. But like we hear the girls' conversations of like why would there be a difference, and I don't see why there'd be a difference. And who cancels versus who doesn't cancel.
No, they follow the same script.
Hot. Yeah. No one's selling hot. Yeah.
Yeah, Julia, we could go find the size of the homes. It's all in ZenMaid when we cancel them.
Yeah.
I mean, by the price, we could give a general sense of what the size of the cleaning is anyways.
Julia also asked if we have recorded sales. We do. However, they're only for people inside Deck in a Day. And full transparency is because I don't trust every single person out there to have recorded sales conversations. So for the people who I do trust, I'll give you all the sales conversations and all the conversations, like literally all the conversations in our business. I give to people who I trust, but not that it's not that I don't trust you forever, Julia. I just don't trust you yet. I know you're inside the school community, so like you have a higher degree of trust than some people, but there are recorded sales conversations that we have, but not for just everybody. That's a great
Lucas
question.
asked a good question in the beginning. He just asked,
Yeah.
why do you have the last 4 weeks visible on this week?
Like on the vision
On the
sheet.
vision. Yeah.
Yeah. Just for just to be able to see progress. Because I think ultimately that's what all the data is like when it's like data's only valuable when you compare to other data. So when someone says, "Are you rich?" It's like compared to you, right? Like what does that mean? Right? And so like data's only good compared to itself. And that's why when you see the last 4 weeks, like $11,000, is that good? Well, compared to 2 weeks ago, and it was 9,000. Yes. When compared to the week before that, where it was 10,000. Yes. Compared to the week before that, where it was 12,000. I mean, that's what it is, right? But if I were to put
Compared to
eleven thousand
Bozeman?
dollars, exactly, if I put $11,000 in Bozeman, it'd be like, what the fuck? Excuse me, what the frick happened, right? Like, what's going on here? So it's compared to what? That's why when someone says like, "Are you rich? Are you strong? Are you in shape? Are you skinny? Are you fat?" Just like compared to what? Compared to where you have been. I think that's the most important thing. And it's a great question, Lucas. And I think that's ultimately every single person on here is like they look at like sometimes, and I do this myself, so I know that this happens to other people as well. Like we compare ourselves to others, and there's a way to compare yourself to others that is helpful, and that's like to be inspired by others and let them know that it can happen. And like if I can do it, by golly, Jessica and Lucas can do it. And that's like when they see us be successful, they get that like they get motivated off that. Where some people are like, some people get disappointed. They're like, oh, I could never do that, right? Or they start to get jealous, and they start to be like, well, it's because they work together. That's why they're so successful. It's because whatever, right? And all of a sudden they start to like point the finger instead of being inspired. And that's where comparison can be in. It can derail you from your goal rather than getting you closer to your goal, right? But the best person to compare yourself to is the best way to compare yourself. The best thing to compare to is yourself, your previous data. Right? Well, how big has your business been? How many like what has been your inputs? Really, that's what I'd like to compare. Like as much as we love to even compare outputs, like here's my revenue, like what are your inputs? How many interviews have you got? How many sales calls have you got? How much money have you spent on marketing? How many ads have you put up? Inputs. Those are my favorite things to compare. And ironically enough, when you start to focus on your inputs, well, usually your outcomes go up as well. It's weird. When I do more sales calls, I close more people. When I close more people, I make more money. I want to make more money. Go talk to more people, right? So I think that's the value of the comparison of weeks previous is seeing where you're at, to like get an idea of how far what numbers you've done, and then figure out how to do better. And that's a conversation that I don't know if Jacinta's on here, but um, I just like have so much respect for her in the aspect that there was this one time we were on our vision meeting that I had with her. We did a one-on-one, and she was like so jacked about how she got the best input she's ever had. She made 100 phone calls, and she was so excited. And then I was like, that's it is good. It was good. And then I just asked her, in order for her to double her sales, though, what was she going to need to do? She's like, well, this is the best I've ever done. I was like, but is it what is required in order for you to get to your outcome you're looking for? And then she was a little frustrated, and then next thing you know it, she turned that frustration into more energy on making more phone calls, and then next thing you know, she's making 200 phone calls, right? So it's doing what's
That's
required.
awesome.
So at the end of the day, like you want to do your best. However, if doing your best isn't enough, then like do more. Do enough in order for you to get to the goal. And I think that's like the next level is like people are like, do your best, do your best. And I agree. However, if your best isn't getting you the result you're looking for, then do more. Like, how do I do that? Exactly. There, right there, that question is the right question to ask. Well, how do I do more? That's the question to ask. But usually it's like stop doing other things so you can do more of what you're doing. That's usually what it is. Stop distracting yourself that shit that doesn't make you money and focus on something that does make you money, like making more phone calls. Stop organizing, creating stupid SOPs that have nothing to do with you making more money. Pick up the dang phone. Call people. Ah. So
Well, if you guys want to watch somebody get uncomfortable and overcome something that we've never actually been faced with before, you just wait a couple weeks and we'll come back with some data about canceled clients and give you some updates.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the thing I'm most confident with is that we continue to hire people. Even though that the last couple of weeks we had like 20 some spots unfilled, we're still hiring. We're not turning it off. We're not turning it off because when we do catch it, when we do finally catch it, we're going to be there and it's going to go. So we were sitting on it. We're sitting on the people. We're sitting on the actual ability to get to the money. We just don't got the money right now. Like, actually, we even have the money, it's just not staying on the schedule. So it's like, how do we solve the people getting on the schedule, staying on the schedule? We have the new people coming in. We got to keep them on the schedule, and then all of a sudden we'll get a nice little boop.
It gives us the option to actually have a schedule be filled.
Yeah. 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 We could have technically had $14,000 in the schedule last week. That's good. No, Anna Harris, we do not. Yeah. We try to do that actually. In the very beginning, I did it. I tried to do it.
It's not scalable.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough. I think that at scale, if we had 5 cleaning companies, we could have one person be in charge of doing that, it might work. Right. But so I think that's the economies of scale, like a small business that's doing $40,000, $50,000, even us who's doing in our first business, we're doing $100,000. Like this is still not enough. You have to pay someone in. It would that money, that attention that you would take to that would take away from something else, which right now I don't see that as being a higher value of our office people is to make reminder phone calls. So. But it's a great question. Yes, we do all the reminders. Yeah. All the reminders go out. We do all the reminders. We've basically narrowed this down to just we have to hold people to the standard. So you can have all the rules in the world, but if you don't hold them to it, then who cares? They'll just do what humans will do is what's in their best interest. Humans will always do what's in their best interest. And I think that's the philosophy that I have on business. And so like, how do I make it so it's in the best interest of the clients not to cancel within 48 hours? And that's by simply saying, I have to charge you. I don't want to, but if we have to, because we got to protect our cleaner schedules. So is there any way we can keep this on the schedule? Like, that's really what I want. Like, I don't want your money for nothing. I just want you to show up. I just want you to let me in your dang home. Let me just clean your home. That's all I want. That's all I want.
We could send a robot.
Don't tell them the robot. Don't tell them all the secrets.
Robots are coming. I saw.
I told Lucas
we have a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. For everybody's in the cleaning business, in the next couple of years, there might be the chance to be on the cutting edge of putting robots in clients' homes. Probably not. Just saying there's a chance. Or maybe putting a robot in the office. That would be even cooler. Even cooler. So, all right, guys. Happy freaking Monday. Thank you guys for hopping on here. Appreciate you guys for showing up. Appreciate you guys for engaging. Chat was hot today. And yeah. Thank you guys for making the ups and downs in our business somewhat enjoyable, because we get to share our pain with you, share our stories, share our processing with you guys, and hopefully you guys can get value from it as well. And yeah, maybe you guys can even potentially solve that problem somehow. Who knows? But either way, happy Monday. For everybody who's inside the school community, see you guys tomorrow on the coaching call. I got an announcement to make on the coaching call tomorrow, so make sure you guys are on there. And then yeah, for everybody else, we'll see you guys next week. Be right here again, same channel, same Zoom link, and we'll be talking about what happened this week. Did we solve this problem, or do we still got this problem happening? So, Katie, thanks for co-hosting. James, thanks for being on here always. For everybody else, super appreciate you guys. Happy freaking Monday. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.